Someday, centuries from now, like coaxing amber into flame, since I've left a verse or two behind, someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name. Thank you. I actually can see you clapping. It's a wonderful thing. And please feel free, if you're willing, those of you who are in the Zoom anyway, go ahead and pop it in the chat room where you're watching from. It's one of the beautiful things about actually being able to do a live, semi-interactive performance from home during these times. And one of the wonderful things is how we're not geographically bound to getting in our vehicles and going someplace and sitting there and watching the performance. And so even though I wish that we were all together in this beautiful little amphitheater at Handley Library, in fact, we're safe at home and we're together, and I greatly appreciate that. Here's home for me, Lincoln, Virginia. So I live here in the midst of a whole bunch of gravel roads, and I walk them. And those of you who've bought the book already, the book about my journey through my family history and my parents taking DNA tests and all the crazy stuff that happened, you know that I have a favorite gravel road walk that I do, and it's where I process a lot of what I've experienced along the way and sort of try to make sense out of it. And it's mostly all good stuff. But of course, here in Northern Virginia, autumn lingers for a while. And one of the ancestors that I feel closest to at this time of year is my grandmother. She hosted Thanksgiving dinner at her house, and we would go there every year. And literally, just in the last couple of days, I got back some 8mm movies that my grandfather had taken, and I had digitized. And so a couple of nights ago, I was seeing them for the first time, and some of them are from the late 1940s and the early 1950s. And there's my grandmother as a much younger woman, and my dad as basically a kid, and it's just kind of cool. So this is one I wrote on my Beyond Borders album this time of year for for my grandmother as she was passing the torch. It's called When the Maples Turn. I am but a small boy on my grandmother's knee. She's telling me a story from when she was 3. I have known you all my life, I say. Always you were wise, but how could you expect me to believe you were my size? She holds up the picture. Look, this child is me, just the same as you, and it's clear and plain to see. And I reply, there is a difference that surely proves me right, for I live my life in color, there you are in black and white. And the golden years go silver like the falling of the leaves. Father Time is always tugging at our sleeve. And I know the story winds down when life's autumn colors burn, killing frost not far behind when the maples turn. She's the queen of all the nurses, the patriot, the saint, lighting matches in dark places, bearing all without complaint. These are her chapters and her verses from our history, but pages left to come are mostly left to me. For grandmother is quite old now, she's lived a century, and the eyes reflecting my own no longer know it's me. And I wrestle with the notion someday I'll know that cage, once again remembering she once was my age. And the golden years go silver like the falling of the leaves. Father Time is always tugging at our sleeve. And I know the story winds down when life's autumn colors burn, killing frost not far behind when the maples turn. Flagstaff, Arizona, after another show. A young girl shares her story that reminds me of my own. How it all once seemed so clear, so long before this page. And hear myself saying back when I was your age. And the golden years go silver like the falling of the leaves. Father Time is always tugging at our sleeve. And I know the story winds down when life's autumn colors burn, killing frost not far behind when the maples turn. And the golden years go silver like the falling of the leaves. Father Time is always tugging at our sleeve. And I know the story winds down when life's autumn colors burn, killing frost not far behind when the maples turn. When the maples turn. Thank you, friends. When the Maples Turn from my Beyond Borders CD. So, this whole family history thing, I know some of you have followed my journey on this over the last few years, and you realize what an addictive thing it can be to go down that digital rabbit hole known as Ancestry.com. I expected a lot of things. My grandmother left behind this great big bushy family tree full of colonial ancestors who came over with the Puritans in the 1630s and 40s. So I was, I didn't really know what to expect when my parents took the DNA test, to be perfectly honest. But what I certainly knew was that my mom's family had a lot come from Ireland. And when her DNA matches started coming back and I started looking at, how they linked up and started doing the science of it, I started to have this realization that these were people who still lived in Ireland, that were matching my mom in the here and now. And I have to admit, I'd always thought about my immigrant ancestors and their journeys a little bit, but what I hadn't really realized was that they had left families behind, and those families might still well have been there. And their descendants are the ones who are answering my emails back now. And I realized that this whole journey of finding my past made me realize that I'm finding pieces of my present too. I guess it put it into perspective for me a whole lot to realize that not only were those who left, but there were those who left behind. My people brave boats over angry seas, risked everything, giving life to me, left the home they'd known for a stranger's shore, hope and hunger for one chance more. And Irish blessings and American wakes, glasses raised to the hearts that break, gathered at the door to see 'em go. Of the rest of their lives we'll never know. Hold on tight, storms on the ocean. Hold on tight, storms on the ocean. Hey, break through the door, slammed in your face with the love that remains. Left behind, left behind. I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, left behind. Forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between the leaving and the left behind. Coyote howls in the Mayan night. A boy in the shadows slips from sight. The packet in his belly is his only chance at someone else's promised land. Put one foot down in front of the other. One foot down in front of the other. Hey, hey. Cloud climb the wall, rising in your face with the love that remains. Left behind, left behind. I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between the leaving and the left behind. Leaving and the left behind. Newborn face in the morning sun, another journey has just begun. But time is a river and the river flows through a mother's love toward the letting go. Don't turn back even if you want to, can't turn back even if you want to. Hey, the way ahead is yours to claim with the love that remains. Left behind, left behind. I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, forever change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between the leaving and the left behind. Leaving and the left behind. The leaving and the left behind. Leaving and the left behind. Leaving and the left behind. Thank you. I actually see your hands. I see your faces and I see your hands. I'm so grateful. Thank you for that. So there is much afoot in the world right now, obviously. And of course, we're all distracted by current events, but I've been focusing a little bit on history this week. Oddly enough, for some reason, it just kind of got on my radar. Maybe it's because it's this time of year, but just a couple of days ago was the 45th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald on Lake Superior in a terrible November storm. And I was flashing back to when I was a kid and Gordon Lightfoot's epic song about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald hit number 2 on the charts. It was all over the radio. It was a folk song, 6 minutes long with no chorus. Just sort of an epic ballad. And yet how incredibly gripping and haunting it was. Kind of around the same time, I guess, that Harry Chapin's Cats in the Cradle was a big thing too. And so these are songs that sort of, like, even though that I spent a lot of time being a rock and roller, these story songs really crept into my head. And I went back and listened to the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald a couple times this week, and I was just, what is it that compels us about such a riveting tragedy song that's really just well crafted? And there are lots of them. And of course, this week was also Veterans Day. So one of the veterans in my family who wound up finding his way into the book and the album, they're a set. The album and the book go together. And I discovered my 3 times great-grandfather one night when I finally hit on the right spelling of his name in a search engine, and there he was online staring back at me in his Civil War uniform. I have since learned that his story certainly didn't end well. The fact that I know it is kind of amazing, because there was a book written about his unit. And it's not because of their successes or their glories or their tragic sacrifice. It was their abject failures in the Battle of Antietam and winding up at the end of the war in Andersonville, which eventually killed him. So his story was pretty incredible. And last year at Veterans Day, I was in his hometown of Bristol, Connecticut, dedicating a brand new Civil War era headstone to replace the broken stone that he laid under for many decades. And it was a real highlight of last year. It wound up being part of the book because I guess I needed that experience to happen to finish writing the book. Artist Culver deserved a bit more than a chapter in the book, though. This is his story. My name is Artist Culver, summer of 62. I traded in my papers for uniform and blue. I took Abe Lincoln's bounty and Union swore to save. But what I've seen since that day haunts me to my grave. We were farmers, merchants, clockmakers, and I knew all their names. Some escaping trouble, still others seeking fame. Proud we marched down Main Street while Bristol rang her bells, but none would know our destiny, to glory or to hell. Whoa, I can't escape the dreams. Don't you hear their screams? Whoa, and I will kill no more. Whoa, let them fight their civil war. Put on a train to Maryland with but a single drill, to Antietam's killing fields upon a cornstalk hill. We faced their fiercest legion and withering hail of lead, and terror ran while rebel yells echoed in our heads. We dug graves for many days, watched by lifeless eyes, then marched with rifles at our backs and hands that fought at our side. Little Mac called it victory, but for failure we were blamed. And if I might survive this war, I vow to clear my name. Whoa, I can't escape the dreams. Don't you hear their screams? Whoa, and I will kill no more. Whoa, let them fight their civil war. Four nights surrounded the siege at Plymouth town, till our white rag of surrender stopped the shells from raining down. To Andersonville through gates of hell, its deadline we had crossed, when they paroled my skin and bones. My soul had long been lost. I am Artist Culver, my breath is fading fast. Tell my wife and children I love them to the last. The curse I leave this world with before the fighting's done is those that vote to start the wars be those that face the guns. Whoa, I can't escape the dreams. Oh, don't you hear their screams? Whoa, kill no more. Whoa, 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 let them fight their civil war. Thank you. It is really something special to be able to have incorporated my ancestors' story into my life's work. I am the luckiest guy I know to be blessed with this life in music. As I was working on this project last year, the other thing that I got wrapped up in was another songwriter friend of mine, Mac Bailey, has been spending his last few years doing some really sacred music therapy work, helping wounded warriors who've returned from overseas to rewire and reframe their traumatic stress and their stories, and to really be able to help them kind of put themselves together whole again in a new way, and using songwriting. And so what you do is you spend a couple hours one-on-one with one of these vets, and they sort of, you just have a conversation, really, and you sort of learn about each other, and my job is to help bring their story to life in song. I have met some amazing people, and I have had the privilege to bear witness to some of their stories and to help bring them to life to share with you. This one... This guy was from Puerto Rico, and he worked in mortuary affairs. His job was to make sure that those honored fallen who came home with dignity. And I saw him and his wife as part of a special series on Good Morning America just a couple weeks ago, and I shared their little film during my concert. It was a privilege to be able to write the song with them. It's a privilege to be able to share it with you. This is sort of about the dark moment that every one of these vets seems to have gone through. Is they're at some precipice where they're ready to say, I can't take any more and I'm done. And how his wife intervened was in the aftermath of it all. She said, you have a family here, and you have a life here, and you have a new mission now. Duty calls in many ways. I chose to serve the fallen, sent home to Dover Air Force Base, awaiting love's final calling. Do your job, get each detail right, an honor guarded with all my might, and I'm gonna make sure that you get home. These eyes have seen families cry, these arms bear the reason why, this heart that survives somehow, to take a new mission now, to take a new mission now. Didn't know why they'd haunt my dreams, till I found that I was falling, wrapped up in an angel's wings. When my death came calling, she said, my love keeps your heart held tight, an honor guarded with all my might, and I'm gonna make sure that you're okay. These eyes have seen families cry, these arms bear the reasons why, this heart that survives somehow, to take a new mission now, for this is my mission now. The baby boy sleeps gently, he wears me a widow's name. Now this grandfather's aching heart, once again broken open and changed. Family is everything to me, a love I guard with all that I can be. I'm gonna make sure you're safe each night. These eyes have seen families cry, These arms bear the reasons why. This heart that survives somehow to take a new mission now. This is my mission now. Take a new mission now. But this is my mission now. That's for my friends Alex and Sylvia, for the gift of their friendship. It is indeed just a couple of weeks from probably the most different Thanksgiving any of us can remember. I have grown to appreciate many things in Corona world. Of course, my entire career has sort of just puffed away in a wisp because there is no touring, there is no traveling, there are no small theaters where there are folks waiting to sit and listen to these stories in person. I am instead an 8th grade virtual school homeschool headmaster, and I am the worst choice you could ever come up with for such a job. Although my kid has been cutting me some slack about it nonetheless. When this all happened, when everything closed down, I was on the road in, of all places, New Orleans and Austin back in March, and I got home on St. Patrick's Day. The book and album got here a couple hours before I pulled in the driveway, and I really haven't left since. And now, as I realized the magnitude of what was happening, I turned to a practice that I often do when I'm struggling along with a hard place, because there have been many hard places. Working for yourself is a wonderful thing, but it also means that there's nobody to blame for anything that goes off the rails and nobody to bail you out. So one of the things that I've taken to doing when circumstances get out of my control is a gratitude journal. And one of the things that I wrote about during that week of journaling on my website, you can find it on the blog if you're interested, but one of the things that I was sort of marveling about was how lucky I am that this isn't 1918 and the Spanish flu and we'd all be cooped up in our houses, and really there would be no opportunity to have this kind of see you face-to-face interaction, to be able to talk, to be able to Zoom, FaceTime, all of these incredible things that we're able to do. And so I thought, it could be worse. I'm grateful that we're able to be safe at home together. And at this time of year, most especially, that seems like something that I ought to add when I count my blessings. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way into heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Count the good deeds that you've done, or lent your hand to help someone. St. Peter's got his list, he's checking everyone. Count the good deeds that you've done. In spite of all your troubles, all you need is on your back. Believe in all your blessings, and don't worry about all you lack. Count the lessons you learn each day. Let them guide you, show you the way. Follow the words, you won't go astray. Count the lessons you learn each day. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. You don't need money when you're lying cold. You can't buy your way into heaven, I am told. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Count your blessings, don't count your gold. Thank you. Count Your Blessings, written by my dear friend and longtime bandmate John Rickard, and I guess I helped out a little bit. So I got time to do one more song today. Before I do, I want to just say thank you to the Handley Library for inviting me to help get this virtual series started, to help bring art live into your home, made by people making art live in their own. I'm really grateful you were willing to go along for this joyride together this afternoon. If you would like, I am always happy to take care of your Christmas shopping. I've got 6 other albums besides the book and album combo I got back there. And if you want to browse around the music page at my website, if you have questions, if you want to get something specific and you're having any trouble, just send me an email through the website, and I promise you I will be the guy who answers it, and I will be the guy who walks up to the post office when it's time to ship it. Right on up my dead-end gravel road up to the blacktop up there. Take me all of 2.5 minutes. And of course, nobody else is going to get Aunt Etta or Uncle Jed an Andrew McKnight CD or book, so you are assured of getting unique gifts too. So there's that. Aside from my gratitude for the library, I also want to thank the Virginia Commission for the Arts, who have been really working hard to make sure that we have a way to not only support our artists here in the Commonwealth, performing artists of all stripes, but to continue bringing the vibrancy of art into our communities and into our houses. It's such a connective thing, you know. Our downtowns are missing the festivals that bring in lots of visitors, and we're all just kind of having to make do with what we got. And it's great to have so many wonderful people wanting to make do in a beautiful and creative way. But most especially, it's the people on the receiving end of it being here that makes it all possible. So in these times where clearly we're facing some pretty significant challenges in our communities and our people, and lots of open wounds between many of us, it is good to remember that we are people and our neighbors are people, and we are all human beings dealing with the same fears and frailties and hopes and aspirations, and we may differ in the details about how we want to get there, but at the end of the day, we're all came into this world the same way, naked and crying. And each of us is something worth standing for. An old man mowing grass on a levee, drenched in sweat in the noonday sun. His backseat stocked with stuff he's picked up. His beat-up car barely runs. He's got 1,000,000 miles worn upon his face, but smiles as he walks my way. Lights a half-smoked cigarette as he sits down. Before I can leave, he turns to say, you gotta haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for. I've been down in the shadows about the shape I'm in, a mess made with my own hands. could write a book with the lessons I've learned and hard luck that made this man. I've walked in the valley of darkness. I've known heartbreak, I've known loss. But I'm still standing on these 2 feet, amazing all that got me across. So haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for. Before he turned to leave, he said, now hear me, son, I could talk till my face turns blue. What matters ain't the words you say, it's all the little things that you do. Don't be afraid to help another, 'cause when your time's up there's nowhere to hide. And the walls we build to keep us safe are prisons that trap us inside. So haul all you need from the river, build your temple up from the floor. Be grateful for every gift you get, find something worth standing for. And with that, friends, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving, a meaningful, graceful, and grateful Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's a delight to be able to share these songs and stories with you today. Thank you ever so much. And thank you, Barbara, for hosting. A big hand to Barbara for all the work that it took to get this all to happen. Big 2 hands.